All right, y'all. So when it comes to editing your audio in Adobe Audition, there's two techniques that you need to know. They are called trimming and splitting, and I'm going to show you both of them very quickly. So this is the flawed audio file that I have provided to you in Canvas. Let's play the first couple of seconds of that.
All right, let's...
And by the way, y'all, this is a good moment to point out. You will see that for this individual track, you are seeing what the output volume is. But down here, you will see the output volume for the entire project. So I failed to mention this before, but you'll want to make note of that as well, because this meter is going to tell you what the entire project, all of your sound, your narration, your music, your sound effects, what it all sounds like together. And the same rule of thumb applies here. You want the output to be at about the 75% mark. So let's play that back.
see.
Okay, so we can see here, this is where I actually begin speaking in this audio file. The rest of it here, this is just ambient noise that is not contributing to our work at all. So if we want to get rid of that, which we do, we're going to do what's called trimming. And it is exactly what it sounds like, y'all. You are simply trimming some of the fat off of the beginning and or the end of your sound file. And it's very easy to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cursor and we're going to put it on the end of the sound file here. You will see that it changes from a regular looking cursor to a directional bracket. And we're going to click it. We're going to drag it to about that point right there. All right, and by the way, y'all, for this sort of editing, make sure that you are using the blue playhead here to your advantage. You'll use this to navigate throughout your sound file. In addition to the blue playhead itself, you've got this vertical red line right here that can really help you in terms of being as exact as possible with your editing, because we're editing a sound file on the first track here. It's very easy to align with the blue playhead. But if you're working with a sound file down here on track number 3, it can be difficult to align it without the use of this red line right here. So be sure that you're using that. So let's go ahead, let's move that blue playhead back to the front. Let's move the sound file to the front as well. And now when we play this back, we should get me just speaking at the start.
I hope you'll find this practice sound file useful.
Very good. All right, sounds much better. So we've gotten rid of that unnecessary noise that we had at the beginning. Now, the good news, of course, is that Adobe Audition is a non-destructive program. What that means specifically for trimming is if we move this around and we decide that, you know what, we really trimmed off more than we intended to, like let's say we cut into our audio and that's just not what we had in mind at all. It's very easy, y'all. Simply click on the end of the sound file, bring it back out, and as you can see, we have not lost any of the original file. So we can bring it all back if we would like. All right, so this is a very forgiving program as far as walking back any missteps. Obviously, you can go up here to edit and you can undo it as well, but when it comes to trimming, it's very easy. Just click and drag until you get it to where you want it to sit. All right, so that is the trimming feature, and again, that is what you will use on the beginning and the end of your sound file. Now, as far as splitting is concerned, that is the editing technique that you will use to cut out any blemishes within the body of your sound file. So let's play a few more seconds and see if we can identify a moment that we would like to get rid of. Again, I'm going to use my scroll bar up here to try and expand my view of this sound file.
I hope you'll find this practice sound file useful. I've recorded it to share with you so you can become more comfortable with the editing features of Adobe Audition.
Okay, so it's not a huge blemish, but let's say that we wanted to get rid of this part right here. That's a part where I'm clearing my throat.
A program that I'm...
All right, so it's not a huge deal, but nevertheless, we'd like to get rid of it because we want our audio to sound as polished as possible. So we need to try and we need to isolate that bit of noise right there so we can get rid of it. All right, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to go up here to our toolbar, and we're going to toggle over to the Razor Selected Clips tool. As you can see, it's highlighted blue, so that is the current function that we're exercising. And we're going to place one cut on one end and another cut on the other end. So we have isolated this from the rest of the sound file. Now, when you are ready to actually select that snippet right there and delete it, remember that you need to manually toggle back over to the Move tool here, all right? Otherwise, if you go to click on it, you're going to place another cut, and you can very easily wind up cutting your work into ribbons that way. So you have to manually toggle back and forth between whatever functions you intend to use. So we're going to click that. We'll delete it. Take our cursor, pull the rest of the sound file over here, and this should sound relatively seamless now.
Program that I'm very
Let's try and get a better sound here.
audition. Program that I'm very excited.
All right, so it's not perfect. I think I made that cut a little bit too early, but I think you get the point there. All right, so you can use the razor tool to try and cut out any moments that you don't want to show up in your final work, and this is how you can create something that sounds borderline professional in quality. Let's see if we can spot another moment just for practice.
For you to learn. Now, while
So right here we have this kind of awkward pause.
Now, while
All right, and it kind of slows down our work. So let's go ahead and let's try and cut that out as well. So we are going to use our scroll bar there. Let's toggle over to the razor tool. Let's place one cut there. One cut there. Once again, y'all, use that blue playhead if you feel like you need to use it for the sake of accuracy. Let's go ahead and cut that out. Let's pull that over. Let's see what that sounds like now.
for you to learn. Now, while our
All right, that sounds significantly better. So y'all, when it comes to trying to put the finishing touches on your own work, remember that the editing is what you are going to want to spend the most time on to try and produce something that is, again, as polished as possible. Trimming does not take very long, as I think you saw previously, but when it comes to splitting, that is something that can be sort of time-consuming. But giving yourself enough breathing room to work on it will be the difference between doing something that sounds like it's an admirable first start and something that sounds like it was made by somebody with experience. So trimming and splitting are the two editing features that you will want to get a lot of practice with.